Hello guys, Fru here. Welcome to today's relevant read. So guys, today I'm going to be sharing an amazing article that I came across in my read today that talks about a map. So this map lets you plug in your address and see how it's changed over the past 750 million years. Let me actually zoom in here for a second, guys. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of adventure and traveling. I'm going to share some of my photos here, just a few of them. The Grand Canyon, I think this was somewhere in Minnesota, more towards southern Minnesota. Of course, if you can recognize this is the Grand Canyon. I believe this was a South Rim, I'm not quite sure. Bryce Canyon in the United States, somewhere around Zion, and I think this is more in Zion as well. This is somewhere in Utah, I'm not quite sure, but maybe driving towards Arizona from Utah, I believe. All right, and then this is somewhere along the way. So guys, I'm just a huge fan of traveling and adventure, and one of the things that always fascinates me is when you look at some of the landscapes, I always say to myself, gosh, I can, you can just tell that there was water here at some point in time, and then you look at your current reality and it's so different, right? So this map was just fascinating when I came across it, to actually see that the earth is actually changed, and I can't even imagine what 750 million years look like. But guys, I think it's one of those things that's just fascinating to check it out. Put in your address and just kind of go through the years and see what it looks like, right? Some places that you think are oceans now are dry, and then some places that were dry were oceans. So it's just kind of fascinating to really play with. All right, guys. So let's go down. It's an article that was published around this time here, and what it does is it offers this map, and I'm going to open up the map, so we're going to play with it. All right, so it comes to the map. Let me see if I can zoom into this map. All right, I'll zoom in a little bit so we can see. All right, so it comes with the map, and you can see it looks like the normal map that we are familiar with, right? You have your North America, bear with me, South America, Africa, you have your Europe, somewhere here you have England, Great Britain, and then Ireland over there, and then of course you have Russia and China, India this way. All right, guys, and then Australia somewhere over there. All right, so this is what we have. So what we want to do here is I'm gonna plug in two addresses. You guys know I reside in the US, originated from Africa, somewhere here in Cameroon. So I'm gonna do the exercise using both locations just to see. All right, so let's start with the US, where I currently reside, and we'll do my favorite city, Minneapolis, Minnesota. If anyone knows about Minnesota, usually we're famous for being the cold city of ice and snow, but Minnesotans are brave and Minnesotans are nice. All right, guys. All right, so that's Minnesota, somewhere in the United States. One of the things that I can do for the display option is to show the equator and to brighten up the map. All right, so it's a little bit brightened up. So what we can do now from here is let's go in and look at the 20 million years. All right, so 20 million years, that's what we have. It doesn't seem like there's much difference. So let's go back to 0. Hopefully you can see a difference. Right, so you can see this looks like it's gained more land than it was 20 million years ago, right? It seems like there was more ocean coming in there. All right, let's get a little more aggressive. 120 million years. All right, so you see water. So a good part of Texas was under the water, and I believe that's just cloud. And at this time, oh guys, you can see, right, at this time 120 million years, you can see that these two places were almost one and the same, right? So Cameroon and Brazil, I believe this is Brazil, we're touching. So you have your Nigeria here, and then somewhere here you have Ghana and such, right? We're almost touching. Just 120 million years. Let's go back a little bit up. 50 million years. All right, so 50 million years, the structures still kind of look the same. But this is surprising, guys. This is surprising to me, because 50 million years, it shows like there's way more water coming up here than there was at the 120 million years. So that's fascinating. All right, but let's keep going. Let's do 200 million years. All right, now I can really recognize this, right? When I came across this, I couldn't quite recognize what I was looking at here. I can still see Africa. I can still see all of this is one place. I know Cameroon here does have some mountainous area, which is part of the Mount Cameroon, but it's kind of fascinating to realize that the mountain range that makes up Mount Cameroon actually goes somehow into South America, right? So that's kind of fascinating to me. And then at this time, everything was almost one. There was still a little bit of an ocean here, Europe, and everything was almost one. But then there was this big ocean here, which I'm not quite sure what this ocean is at that time. All right. So we're going towards the Pangaea, and that's just 200 million years. So let's go 300 million years. Now I absolutely don't recognize it. And so, guys, you see, we still have Minnesota. And you remember when I started this, I can zoom in a nice way. Remember when I started this, I was talking about Minnesota. So based on this, what this tells me is Minnesota, the southern Minnesota, is almost underwater. And if I go back to the picture, I remember when I took this picture, if this will show up on my screen. So I remember when I took this picture, I stood here and I was just fascinated by this area. And I just could not imagine how these rocks would form given the location in southern Minnesota. And you wouldn't think that there was an ocean there, but the way the rocks look, it shows that there was huge water at that location. So that was just fascinating to me, and I kept talking about that with my girlfriend, and so that was surprising. And so today, lo and behold, I stumbled on this map that tells us you can see the water coming to southern Minnesota at some point here. All right. And then of course, if you've been to, so this will be Minnesota. I can't really zoom the map well, but those of you that are familiar with the US, this is North Dakota and this is South Dakota. And if you've been to South Dakota especially, you know of the Badlands, and it's just a landscape that just screams to you that there was water at some point in this location. So this actually makes sense if you're looking at this map, if we're going by this map. Let's go back. So we're at 300 million years. Let's see if we can go back 400 million years to see. I think I'll go back in increments of 400 million years. All right. So now it's kind of thinking. So now let's see. I'm gonna zoom in for a second. So you still see more of Minnesota is underwater, right? I will say the most of the continent of the United States is underwater. And I'll go to the one in Cameroon in Africa to show that it's just kind of hard to go there now without having a pointer on the screen. So, but the point here being most of Minnesota is underwater. Texas, almost all of Texas is underwater. And then once you start looking at, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, right? New Mexico even. So New Mexico, all of this, even all the way to Montana, right? All of that is underwater at this time. I think Montana is somewhere up there. Idaho, Washington is just way under the ocean. All right, that's just fascinating to think about. Now let's go back 500 million years. All right, so 500 million years. Again, this Minnesota continues to be underwater. I just cannot really recognize this. So it seems like it was all one and then it kind of separated, because at this point I don't even recognize the shape of what I'm looking at here, right? Where's Africa? Where's Europe? Where's South America, Australia? All of that I can't recognize that. Let's go to let's just go to the end. 750 million years, and voila. Right now I really cannot recognize what this is. It was dry land, so it seems like it was dry land. The water came and then it dried up and then more water came at this point, and then you just have a whole sea of ocean. So it seems like most of the land that we have now was just under the ocean at some point. So I can't really zoom into this one. All right, so guys, so there you have it. It's interesting. I promised I was gonna do one on Cameroon, so let's do Bamenda, if I can see that, Northwest Cameroon. So Bamenda, Northwest Cameroon. Oh, cannot resolve that location. That's unfortunate. Let's do Yaoundé. Central, that's the capital of Cameroon. Hopefully that resolve. Oh, cannot resolve Yaoundé. So let's go to, I think I know what's going on. All right, so it brings Yaoundé. It seems like Yaoundé doesn't go far back. So if you're familiar with the map of Africa, Yaoundé is just kind of in the middle there. So since it comes back this way, let me go back to Bamenda Northwest. I think it should resolve Bamenda now. All right, so you see you have Bamenda and you have Yaoundé all in Cameroon. And just for a point of reference, there is Minnesota, there is the United States over there. All right, South America, we have South America over there, and then Europe and India and Australia. All right, so Yaoundé and Bamenda. So let's go back 20 million years. All right, things kind of look like that. Let's try, I think it was 120 million years, and voila guys, so there you go, 120 million years. Bamenda, Yaoundé, well, Yaoundé is here, Bamenda is up a little bit, was just part of close to Brazil, right? I'm sure it was just one. I'm sure that you had some of the jungle that was here was just crossing over. Some of the monkeys that were here will cross over the baboons and the lions and the leopards, right? That's why you have leopard in Africa, and then somewhere over here you have leopards too, I believe. Over here, I think there are leopards in South America, right? So a lot of the animals and similarities that are here also are animals that are found in Africa. So it's just fascinating to see how things have changed in history. And if you go even further, 200 million years, it was just one giant planet. So I could imagine somebody literally just walking from here if they really wanted to push all the way to Minnesota, right? Somebody could literally just like trek from here. I'm sure this looks like it's a mountain, but if you really were ambitious, I'm sure you could do it, right? You could do more so this way, going through North America, than and up to Europe, than you could this way. I'm sure you could still go over the waters here, but I'm not sure how easy that was, right? And I don't think Australia was separated. What I want to see, yeah, Australia wasn't separated. Australia wasn't separated. I wanted to see Botswana, but that's all right. Let's just go back 400 million years. Now it's a little bit all messed up. All right, that's when the ocean was there back. But guys, this is an interesting map. I don't want to play with it for too long. I hope you can get a sense of how interesting it is. I hope you found it as interesting as I did. And if you go here, you can, the first grass, you can search to go back when the first grass was found. You can go back the first hominids. Lucy, I believe Lucy was the first human, I'm sure, Homo sapien that was. Again, if you can tell, I'm not an expert in geology or history or anything like that, so my knowledge will be a little bit shallow there. I talk a lot about technology, career, and inspiration on this channel, but I just thought this would be an inspiration for those of you that are following. Dinosaur extinction, let's see. All right, things kind of look the way they are by the time the dinosaurs extinct. So, all right, and then you have credits there for the people who worked on this site. All right, guys, so this was just a short, interesting, I hope short, interesting read for us today. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a link to this article in the description. If you want to check it out, definitely click on that link. You can get to the map, and it's an interactive map. You can play with it, you can read a little bit of the history. You know, I'm always a fan of educating ourselves, right? And we cannot be one-trick pony. The more we learn about us, you know, our history, our society, and everything around us, doesn't just have to be technology. I think we become better, more informed human beings. So guys, hopefully this helped. Check out in the link in the description to interact with this map. And guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have interesting things that you've come across and you feel is worth sharing, definitely reach out to me with them, and I'll, you know, make a quick video to expose them as relevant reads. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next relevant read.